Be me, name is Ryan. 28 years old, software developer at a startup. Been working here 3 years, decent salary, stable life. Got my own apartment, my own car, savings in the bank. Not rich, but comfortable. Worked hard to get here. Single for about a year after my last relationship ended. Finally feeling ready to date again. My buddy Marcus says the dating scene has changed. Says women are different now, more independent. I say that sounds like a good thing. He laughs and says you'll see. I don't know what he means, but I download the dating apps anyway. Start swiping, see the usual profiles. Then I come across this girl named Leah, 27 years old, marketing coordinator at some firm downtown. Bio immediately catches my attention. Says feminist, empowered, know my worth. Independent woman, building my empire. Not looking for someone to complete me, already whole. Profile full of pics at brunches with friends. Travel shots in Europe, beach photos, girl boss energy. I think this is refreshing, a woman who knows what she wants. I swipe right, and we match immediately. She messages first, which I appreciate. We start chatting and she's actually really engaging. Talks about her career, her goals, her ambitions. Says she's working toward a promotion, wants to be a director by 30. Very entrepreneurial, very driven. She mentions feminism early on. Says she's passionate about women's empowerment. Talks about breaking glass ceilings and challenging norms. She says she's not like other girls who need a man to validate them. She's whole on her own, complete by herself. A relationship would be a partnership of equals, not dependency. I'm genuinely impressed. This is exactly what I'm looking for. We talk for about a week before deciding to meet. She sends me articles about gender equality. Talks about the pay gap, workplace discrimination. I engage thoughtfully, share my own perspectives. She seems to appreciate that I'm not defensive. Says most men get triggered when she talks about feminism. I say I think equality benefits everyone. She sends a heart emoji, says I might be one of the good ones. Finally, we set a date for Saturday night. She picks the restaurant, says she knows a great place downtown. I look it up, and it's pretty upscale. Entrees are like $35 to $45 each. I think okay, she has good taste, that's fine. Saturday comes, and I put on my best casual outfit. Drive downtown and find parking, which costs $20. Already spending money, and I haven't even walked in yet. I get to the restaurant, and she's already there. She looks amazing, not going to lie. Designer bag, nice dress, full makeup, hair done perfectly. We sit down, and the conversation flows naturally. She's funny, smart, engaging. She talks a lot about feminism and empowerment. How women have been oppressed for centuries. How she's breaking generational chains in her family. Her mom was a housewife. Dad was the breadwinner. She swore she'd never depend on a man like that. Made her own path. Got her own career. I'm nodding along, agreeing with most of it. Equality is important. Women should have opportunities. No argument from me whatsoever. She orders a steak, $45. Plus an appetizer to share, $18. Plus 2 glasses of wine, $15 each. I get the salmon, $38, and 1 beer, $8. Then the bill comes. Total is $156 before tip. I reach for it out of habit. She doesn't even flinch, just keeps talking. Doesn't look at the bill, doesn't acknowledge it. I pay, add a 20% tip. Total comes to about $187 with parking. She thanks me as we're leaving. Says she had a great time. Suggests we do this again soon. I'm thinking okay, good first date. Maybe she'll offer to pay next time. That's what equal partners do, right? Second date. She picks another restaurant. French place, very trendy. Reservations required. Entrees are $50 to $60 each. She immediately orders champagne, $80 a bottle. Says, we should celebrate us. I smile, but inside I'm calculating costs. She orders appetizer, salad, and filet mignon. I get the chicken because I'm now watching expenses. Bill comes to $210 before tip. She's on her phone when the check arrives. Texting someone, doesn't even glance at it. I wait a moment to see if she'll notice. She doesn't. I pay again, total about $250 with tip. I've now spent $450 on 2 dates. With a woman who keeps telling me she's independent. Walking to our cars, I casually mention, maybe next time we could try something more casual. She looks at me funny and asks like what? I say maybe cook dinner at my place or grab takeout. She wrinkles her nose and says that's more of a relationship thing. We're still in the getting to know each other phase. This phase requires real dates, apparently. Real dates meaning expensive, ones that I pay for. 3rd date, she suggests this rooftop bar she's been wanting to try. Says her friends all posted about it. Looks amazing. Cocktails are $18 to $22 each. She orders 3 specialty cocktails over the night. $66 just for her drinks. Plus small plates to share, $45. Bill is $129. She's already putting on her jacket when I'm signing the receipt. Doesn't even pretend to reach for her purse. I've now spent almost $600 in 3 dates. Starting to feel like a pattern here. 4th date, I suggest we grab coffee. Something simple, relaxed, inexpensive. She says coffee is boring. Let's do brunch instead. I try to insist on coffee. She says come on, live a little, brunch is more fun. Brunch turns into bottomless mimosas at $35 per person. She drinks about 6 mimosas over 2 hours. Takes photos of everything for her Instagram. Tags the location. #blessed, #brunch vibes. Bill comes to $99. She's in the bathroom when the check arrives. I'm starting to think the timing isn't coincidental. 4th date total, about $120 with tip. Running total, now over $700. I'm definitely feeling like an ATM at this point. But I keep telling myself, maybe she's just traditional. Maybe she'll reciprocate eventually. Maybe I'm overthinking this. 5th date, I decide to test something. We go to dinner, nice Italian place. She talks about the wage gap at her company. How women are undervalued and underpaid. How she works just as hard as any man there. Harder actually, she says, because she has to prove herself more. Makes her own money, doesn't need anyone's help. I'm listening and nodding. But inside I'm noting the irony. She's talking about making her own money, while I pay for every single meal. Bill comes, and I don't reach for it immediately. Just let it sit there on the table. Keep the conversation going casually. She glances at the bill, then back at me. Keeps talking like she didn't see it. I wait. She waits. Awkward silence builds. She shifts in her seat uncomfortably. Finally, she says, aren't you going to get that? I say we could split it if you want. Her face changes immediately. Like a switch flipped. What do you mean split it? I mean we each pay for what we ordered. She looks at me like I suggested we dine and dash. Ryan, the man is supposed to pay for dates. I'm confused because she literally just talked about equality. I say I thought you were all about equality. She says this is different. How is it different? She says dating is traditional. It's how it's always been. The man provides, the woman receives. That's just how courtship works. I ask what happened to not needing a man. She says I don't need a man, but if I'm dating one, he should act like one. I ask what that means exactly. She says a real man takes care of his woman. Shows he can provide, shows he's serious. I point out that she's not my woman. We've been on 5 dates. She rolls her eyes dramatically. Says this is exactly the problem with modern men.
No chivalry, no class, no romance.
I say chivalry is rooted in patriarchal systems, where women were seen as weaker and needed protection. That's literally what she told me on our first date. She says that's different, that's historical context. This is just how dating works. I pay the bill because I don't want a scene. But something has definitely shifted. I see her differently now. I go home and think about the situation. This woman preaches equality all day long. Posts about empowerment, independence, not needing men. Her Instagram is full of feminist quotes. Strong women don't need saving. Independent queens building empires. But when the check comes, suddenly it's traditional. Suddenly the man is supposed to provide. She doesn't even offer to pay. Doesn't pretend to reach for her wallet. Doesn't even say thank you half the time. Just expects it like it's my obligation. Like I owe her dinner for the privilege of her company. I decide to address it directly next time. Give her a chance to explain or change. Sixth date, she picks a steakhouse. Of course she does. I already know this is going to be expensive. She orders a $55 ribeye without even looking at the price. Also orders an appetizer and a cocktail. I get the chicken, $32. Conversation turns to her job. She's excited, says she got a raise recently. Big one too, 15% increase. She's making really good money now. Proud of herself. Going to treat herself to a designer bag she's been wanting. I congratulate her genuinely. That's great. You deserve it. You work hard. She beams and thanks me. I think this is a perfect opening. I say, hey, since you got a raise and you're celebrating, maybe you could grab this one. Treat yourself by treating us. She laughs like I told a hilarious joke. Waits for the punchline. I don't say anything. Her laugh fades slowly. Wait, you're serious? I say, yeah. You just said you're making good money now. This could be your celebration treat. She looks genuinely confused. Says that's my money for my things. I say the food going into your stomach seems like your thing. She doesn't find that funny at all. Says I'm being cheap and unromantic. I say I've spent over $700 on our dates so far. That's not cheap by any definition. She says that's what dating costs. I say dating costs both people, not just one. She says if you can't afford a date, maybe you shouldn't be dating. I say I can afford it, I just don't think it's fair. Why am I paying for everything when we both have jobs? She says fair isn't romantic. Romance is about gestures and effort. A man showing he can provide for the future. Ask, what do you provide then? She looks offended. Says, I provide my time, my presence, my energy. I say I provide those things too, plus $700. She says you're keeping track of money. That's so transactional. I say you're spending my money. That's literally a transaction. She crosses her arms defensively. This is not how I expected tonight to go. I say, what about equality, Leah? You talk about it constantly. She says, stop throwing that word in my face. I say you throw it in mine every single date. Every time we meet, you lecture me about feminism. Equal pay, equal rights, equal treatment. But when the bill comes, suddenly we're not equal. Suddenly it's 1950, and I'm supposed to be the provider. She says that's different. That's about work and rights. Dating is about connection and tradition. Different rules for different situations. I say so equality only applies when it benefits you. At work you want to be treated equal to men. But on dates you want special treatment from men. You want the benefits of feminism without any of the costs. She stares at me, eyes narrowing. Says, I knew you were like this. Like what? One of those men who hates feminism. Who resents women for wanting equality. Probably watches those YouTube videos about men's rights. I say I don't hate feminism. I believe in actual feminism. What I hate is hypocrisy. You lecture me about equality, then expect me to pay for everything. You say you're independent, then act completely dependent on my wallet. You post about not needing men, then need me to fund your lifestyle. That's not feminism. That's manipulation with extra steps. She stands up abruptly, chair scraping loudly. Says, I don't have to listen to this. You're clearly not the man I thought you were. I say you're right. I'm not a walking ATM. She grabs her designer purse. Says we're done, lose my number. I say okay, but before you go. I pull out my phone and calculate her half of the bill. Her steak, her appetizer, her drinks. About $65. I put the cash on the table and slide it toward her. Here's your half. She looks at the money like it's an insult. Says I'm being absolutely ridiculous. I say I'm being equal. That's what you wanted, right? She says this is the most unromantic thing anyone's ever done to me. I say not paying for a single meal in 6 dates is pretty unromantic too. She has no response to that. Just stands there with her mouth open. Finally grabs her purse tighter and storms toward the door. I call after her. You forgot to leave your half. She doesn't turn around, just pushes through the door and disappears. Everyone in the restaurant is looking now. A couple at the next table is pretending not to watch. I sit back down in the booth. Look at the $65 still sitting there. Sigh and pick it up. Flag down the waiter and explain the situation. He's sympathetic, says he sees this more than you'd think. Says a lot of guys just pay and don't say anything. I say I'm done being one of those guys. I pay the full bill because I'm not a jerk. But I'm absolutely done with Leah. Finish my chicken alone, it's actually pretty good. Have another beer and decompress. Think about what just happened. Part of me wonders if I was too harsh. But then I remember $700 and 0 offers to contribute and constant lectures about equality. No, I wasn't too harsh. I was finally honest.
She texts me later that night.
Long message about how I embarrassed her. How everyone in the restaurant saw what happened. How she's never been treated so disrespectfully in her life. How a real man would never ask a woman to pay. How she deserves someone who values her properly. Someone who understands that providing is how men show love. I read it twice to make sure I understand. She's doubling down completely. No apology, no self-reflection, no awareness. Just more expectations and entitlement. I type back a simple response. I valued you for 6 dates at $700. You valued me at 0. We have different definitions of equality. Good luck finding your real man. She replies immediately. Long rant about how I'm missing out. How she's a catch, and I'll regret this. How men like me end up alone because we're too cheap to invest in a high-value woman. I don't respond. She sends another message. Then another. Then a bunch of angry emojis. Then she blocks me.
Classic.
I actually laugh out loud. Feel relieved, honestly. Like a weight lifted off my shoulders. Next day I'm telling my buddy Marcus about it over beers. He's laughing but also nodding knowingly. Says I told you dating has changed. I ask what he means. He says he dated a girl exactly like that last year. Independent queen on Instagram. Feminist icon in her posts. But expected him to pay for absolutely everything. Dinners, drinks, concerts, trips. Even got mad when he suggested cooking dinner at home. Said it was too cheap, not romantic enough. He spent almost $1,000 before he figured it out. She was just using him for free experiences. We swap stories and realize this is incredibly common. These women want equality when it benefits them. Equal pay, equal opportunities, equal respect at work. But traditional treatment when that benefits them instead. Man pays for dates, man proposes, man provides. Never the responsibilities of either side. Just the perks of both. Equality without accountability. I say, how do they not see the contradiction? Marcus shrugs and takes a sip of his beer. Says they probably do see it. They just don't care. As long as men keep paying, why would they change? I think about that for a while.
He's probably right.
Week later I'm back on the dating app. Almost deleted it after the Leah disaster. But decide to give it one more shot. Swiping through, and most profiles look the same. Empowered queens and independent bosses. I'm skeptical now. Those words mean nothing. Just red flags wrapped in inspirational quotes. Then I see a profile that's different. Girl named Sarah, 27. Bio doesn't mention feminism or empowerment. Just says she likes hiking, cooking, and bad movies. Looking for someone to split pizza and watch horror films. Photos are casual, normal, not curated. Hiking trails, her dog, a blurry concert pic. No designer bags, no brunches, no girl boss energy. Just a regular person living her life. I swipe right, and we match. She messages first. Says she liked my hiking photos. asks where they were taken. We start chatting and it's immediately different. No lectures, no ideology, no proving anything. Just normal conversation about hobbies and interests. She asks about my job, I ask about hers. She's a nurse, works hard, long hours. Talks about her patients with genuine compassion. Never once mentions what she deserves or her worth. Just talks about what she enjoys and values. We decide to meet up that weekend. She suggests tacos, knows a great little place. I look it up, it's a hole-in-the-wall Mexican spot. Tacos are $3 each. I almost can't believe it. We meet at the taco place, and she's cute. Not glammed up, just natural. Jeans, t-shirt, minimal makeup. She smiles warmly and hugs me hello. We order at the counter together. She gets 3 tacos and a horchata. I get 4 tacos and a Mexican Coke. Total comes to $22 for both of us. She immediately pulls out her card. Says, let's split it. I'm almost shocked. I say, you sure? She looks at me funny. Says, yeah, we both ate, we both pay. That's how it works, right? I smile and say, yeah, that's exactly how it works. We split the bill, and it's the best $11 I've spent in months. We sit at a little table and talk for 2 hours. She's funny, genuine, easy to be around. Just 2 people getting to know each other. Second date at a coffee shop she likes. I offer to pay since she got tacos. She says okay, but I'm getting the next one. No argument, no entitlement. Just natural reciprocity. Third date, she takes me to a cheap sushi place. Says it's her treat. No arguments allowed. Pays $35 and won't let me contribute. Says fair is fair, you got coffee. I almost want to hug her. This is how it's supposed to work. Fourth date, I pay. Fifth date, she pays. We don't even discuss it anymore. Just naturally alternate without keeping score. No drama, no expectations, no hypocrisy. Just 2 adults treating each other as equals. Actually equals, not the Leah version of equals. Month later, we're officially dating. She's the most genuinely independent woman I've ever met. Has her own money, her own place, her own life. Doesn't need me for anything, but wants to be with me anyway. That's the difference. Needing versus wanting. Leah needed someone to pay for her lifestyle. Sarah wants a partner to share experiences with. One night we're watching bad horror movies at her place. She made popcorn, I brought the drinks. I tell her about Leah, the feminist who expected me to fund all our dates. $700 in 6 dates without a single offer to contribute. Sarah laughs and shakes her head. Says she knows women like that. All talk, no accountability. Posts about empowerment while expecting to be provided for. Wants equality at work, but tradition at dinner. I say exactly, equality means equal. Not equal when convenient. She says real independence means not expecting someone to provide for you. If you can't pay for your own dinner, you're not empowered. You're just dependent with better marketing. I laugh and say that's the perfect way to put it. Dependent with better marketing. I'm stealing that line. She shrugs and says it's obvious if you think about it. But some people would rather play victim than be accountable. Easier to demand things than earn them. 6 months later, Sarah and I are still together. She's never once expected me to pay for everything. Sometimes I pay, sometimes she pays, sometimes we split. It's not about keeping score. It's about the acknowledgement that we're both adults. Both have jobs, both have money. Neither of us owes the other anything just because of gender. We're partners, actual partners. That's what equality actually looks like. Ran into Leah once at a coffee shop. Few months after our disastrous last date. She was with some guy in an expensive suit. He looked tired, kind of defeated. She was showing him something on her phone. Probably the next expensive place she wanted to go. He was pulling out his credit card to pay for her latte. She didn't even look up from her phone.
Didn't say, thank you.
Just expected it. She saw me and quickly looked away. Pretended she didn't recognize me. I smiled and ordered my coffee. Sarah was with me. She insisted on paying. Said she lost a bet earlier about a movie trivia question. Loser buys coffee, those were the terms. We laughed about it on the way out. I glanced back at Leah one more time. Still on her phone, guy still looking defeated. That's the difference right there. One relationship built on expectations and entitlement. One built on actual partnership and equality. I know which one I'd choose. Already did choose it. Year later, Sarah and I move in together. We split rent 50/50ths. Split utilities 50/50ths. Take turns buying groceries. Take turns cooking dinner. No one keeps track, because no one has to. It's just understood that we're equals. Her mom visits and comments on how we work together. Says it's nice to see a real partnership. Sarah says we figured it out early. Both pull our weight, both contribute. That's the only way it works long term. I think about Leah sometimes. Wonder if she ever figured it out. Probably not. Probably still posting about empowerment, while some tired guy pays for her lifestyle, until he figures it out and leaves. Then she moves on to the next one, calling him a real man until the money gets questioned. Then he's not a real man anymore. Anyway, that's the story of how I dated a feminist who talked about empowerment and independence, posted about not needing a man, lectured me about equality and the patriarchy, then expected me to pay for absolutely everything, and called me a fake man when I asked to split the bill. Turns out her feminism had terms and conditions. Fine print at the bottom nobody reads. Equality for her rights and opportunities. Traditional for her dinner and drinks. Never her responsibility, always her benefit. She wanted a modern woman's freedom, with a traditional man's wallet, and couldn't see the contradiction. Or didn't care, because it worked for her. Either way, I dodged a bullet. Found someone who actually lives what she believes. Just mutual respect and shared responsibility. That's what equality actually looks like. Not hashtags and Instagram posts. Not demanding rights while avoiding responsibilities. Just two people treating each other fairly. Pulling equal weight. Building something together. That's the real empowerment. Not whatever Leah was pretending.